A very good evening, Dharma friends. And at the same time, since this is the first Sutta discussion in our Monday BME Sutta discussion series in 2025, so I would like to say a happy and in a very prosperous, blessed 2025, moving forward from today and since a couple of days and throughout the year. May this year be the year that you are increasing your not only your Dharma knowledge, but also your practice, and then finding the perfect balance between your knowledge and then practice, and then becoming wiser, kinder, and then be the best in your version and become the best. I would say better, and more accommodating, understanding yourself and other people. And this is why we are conducting Sutta discussions, not just knowledge gathering. Gathering knowledge is important, but at the same time, it's very important. Think about how this is going to work out in your life, my life, so that this is going to be a very fruitful, beneficial journey. Today is day 64 of this Monday PME Sutta discussion. Buddhist Maha Vihara's Sutta discussion was started in 2023, exactly on the first, I think on the first Monday, the Vasana time. It has been happening for almost year and a half. It's going to be 2 years by the Vasana time this year. And we have been discussing so many suttas already. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta was our first sutta discussion focus. And then we went on to Sabbasava Sutta. And then we discussed many other suttas. To name, I think some of you joined halfway, some of you were there at the beginning as well. And for today, I was not able to post the notes. Don't worry, I'll be posting. And I was thinking that to discuss today's topic, this is the first sanya, perception that Girimananda Sutta offers to us. So we will discuss that and we will slowly look at different areas of this concept. If you can remember the introductory session that we had for Girimananda Sutta, I think that was somewhere in December. We discussed that Girimananda Sutta has to be understood from different angles. They are not our angles that we want to think about the Sutta. As I always tell you, that every Sutta has a literal meaning. At the same time, every Sutta has a contextual. So we are expected to learn about these two angles, literal meaning and the contextual meaning. So in Pali, you cannot find a very inclusive literal meaning just by looking at it from outside. Now, I always mention to you in my most of Sutta discussions that even in Dhamma talks, even one Pali word can have many English meanings. Say, for instance, Kalena, this Pali word. You can remember Kali. Kali. Actually, Kalena, at the same time, there's, I think we can pick up a very famous one, Samaye. Samaye. What does Samaye mean in most of the sutta? Samaye means time. Once upon a time, one time, Samaye. But this Pali word itself has 9 English meanings. 9 meanings. Samaye refers to kala, I mean the timing in this particular sutta and many other suttas. But if you look up this Pali word samaya, samaya means not only time. In some other places, samaya means philosophy, perspective, idea, view. So how do I know that this samaya is time, or this samaya is perspective, or this samaya is something else? Only by understanding the preceding paragraph and the following paragraph and a thorough understanding, thorough reading of the particular paragraph. So we have to read two paragraphs definitely, preceding paragraph and then the following paragraph in the sense of the sutta, and then to have a very keen look at the particular area of the paragraph. So if you just look it up here and there, okay, samay means this and that would not be a good approach to sutta study. That's why it's very important to understand the contextual. Today we are going to look at it in a very interesting way. We said that Girimananda Sutta offers a way to heal. Is healing very important to all of us? Healing is very important. Then somebody might ask, why should I heal? I'm not hurt. I'm not injured mentally, physically, emotionally. Sometimes we are hurt, but we don't know we are hurt or not. It's like a sexual abuse. Many people are sexually abused, but they don't know that they are sexually abused, right? At a later time, they know, oh, this is bad. Huh? How come it happened to me? But it happened to me. And maybe in a house of lot of putting down, depreciating, always picking on. It has been the norm in the household for 20 years from the family members, from other people, maybe family. But the people in the household never think this is abnormal. It's normal for us. Right? So that's why sometimes we don't know whether we are hurt, whether we are wounded. And until we get into a certain life that is much better than that life. Then only we understand we were wounded. I was wounded badly. I was hurt so badly. I was treated not in a normal way as well. So that means we need healing. Although you understand or not, probably you might think that it's okay that I don't remember it. Right? Let's say somebody told me something bad 2 weeks ago, but I don't remember it. It's good because you are not hurt and you don't need treatment. But what I'm saying is that these different things happen to us at different times. And sometimes there are things we cannot get over very fast. So, regardless of the nature of the hurt, the nature of the mystery, nature of the failure problem, we need the healing. In order to heal in our life, physically, mentally, emotionally, medical treatments are not enough. Okay. Then if medical treatments are enough, then you don't have to look at these 10 perceptions. With the medical treatments, proper medical treatments, we also need to heal from our mental experience, emotional experience about the hurt. That's why the Buddha said, when he learned that monk Girimananda was severely hurt or gravely ill, who informed the Buddha? Venerable Ananda. Venerable Ananda informed the Buddha that Venerable Girimananda was gravely sick, ill. Can you please go and then bless him? Buddha said, I teach you 10 perceptions. You go and teach him. Maybe he might have been busy at that time. Then first, the Buddha taught Girimananda Sutta 10 perceptions to Venerable Ananda. And then Venerable Ananda went to wherever Venerable Girimananda was staying at that time and taught the 10 Sangha. Now I have a question for you, maybe you can think about. Have you ever found out any other suttas in your reading that the Buddha taught Venerable Ananda and then Venerable Ananda started chanting to the public? If so, what are those suttas or what is that sutta? Now this is one sutta. Girimananda Sutta was not directly given by the Buddha to Venerable Girimananda. It was given by the Buddha to Venerable Ananda. Venerable Ananda went and taught it to Venerable Girimananda. Have you ever found out any other sutta that we see that the Buddha told the sutta to Venerable Ananda? Venerable Ananda went and taught it. Ratana Sutta. What is it? Ratana Sutta. Yani the Bhutani Samangatani, Ummani Vayani Valantaniki. This was not uttered by the Buddha directly to the city of Vesali. It was uttered by the Buddha to Venerable Ananda. Then you might think about what is the benefit of an unenlightened monk giving a chanting when the Buddha is somewhere else. Venerable Ananda was not an Arahant, but he was a Sotapani in a way. But he's the one who went and chanted. But why the Buddha didn't ask another monk, an Arahant? There were so many Arahants at that time, 80 main Arahants, and so many other Arahants. Why he did not teach this to an Arahant and ask that Arahant to go and chant it? You know the reason? There's a reason why he didn't ask an Arahant to go and do it. The reason is, in Buddhism, it is said that out of the monks who chant to devotees, Venerable Ananda is the monk who has the highest compassion. Any monk who is going to chant any sutta to a devotee gathering must do it with lots of compassion, not just reading a book, not just look at the chanting book and read. Otherwise, anybody can chant. Even if you give the book to even a evil person, that evil person can read the characters, right? There is no problem to, I would say, read it. But what we can see over there is that that Venerable Ananda was the main monk who had the ability to chant with lots of compassion. So whenever Buddha wanted to give an advice to other monks, especially about chanting, he had told many monks, if you want to chant, chant like Venerable Ananda. Very interesting. That's why he even did this to Venerable Girimananda in this point. So that is what we understand here. And then we are going to look at the nature, what's happening after that. So then let's go to the sutta, so then we can see where we left out. Okay, so Girimananda. At one time, the Buddha was staying near Savatthi in Jetas Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. Now, at that time, when Girimananda was sick, going through pain, gravely ill. Remember, Ananda went up to the Buddha, bowed, sat down one side, said to him, Sir, Venerable Girimananda is sick, having pain, gravely ill. Please go to Venerable Girimananda out of compassion. If you were to recite to the Venerable Girimananda, these 10 perception are, this is our main focus in this 10 perception. We call them sanya. Okay. Sanya. It is possible that after hearing them, his illness, sickness will die down on the spot. Die down on the spot. That's interesting. What if someone is going to recover from a sickness after listening to a chanting on the spot? That must, would that be a miracle? Now you always listen to chanting whenever you think that I might get sick, I am sick, I want to overcome my sickness, I don't like to be sick. I think one of the resolutions you may have put in this year may be health, right? You need lots of health. Because if you get sick, you cannot practice Dharma easily, right? But we don't know. We may get sick, cannot sometimes overcome it. But it's better to be on the safer side. If we are not sick, then it's easy to practice. Sometimes it's not the sickness that comes to us, it is our bad thinking, bad habits, poor lifestyle is what causes us to become sick. So that's why in this sutta, you may have seen that lots of people describe this sutta uh, a, a teaching moment where we have to look at the pessimistic uh, side of the life. We have sicknesses, we have this, we have that. So practice Dhamma. Actually, the most interesting aspect of this sutta is not to view the life pessimistically. When we understand our life according to Girimananda Sutta, we have a very positive, very skillful, at the same time, very happy life without developing greed. Now, unfortunately, when the discussions about tanha, greed, upadana, clinging are highly discussed, another side is always overlooked. That overlooked side is, then why are we practicing Dharma? For what? Even the Buddha brought up Nibbana in the form of happiness, right? Nibbana Sukha. Now, why he talk about, there is dukkha. Dukkha is there. But why he talk about dukkha? He wants to tell us the way out. Happiness. That's why he talk about dukkha. Not that dukkha is dukkha, so we don't have to be happy. No. Happiness is his focus. That is his main highlighting point, even in all his suttas. Therefore, Venerable Girimananda at that point should be going back to normal, and then on the spot. At that point, Buddha is giving us the 10 perceptions. Let's see the Pali version over here, because I think you also need to learn some Pali. Katama dasa anicca sanya. This is number 1 for sanya. Anatta sanya. It's number 2. Asubha sanya. 3. Adinava sanya. Number 4. Bhavana sanya. 5. Number 6. Viraga sanya. Nirodha sanya. 7. Sabba loke anabhirata sanya. 8. Long one. And this is going to be 8. Sabba sankharesu anicca sanya. Then it's going to be 9. And anapanasati 10. Okay. You perhaps notice that the 9th one can be overlapping with the first one, but it's not. It has a different perspective. Today, we are going to learn about this first sanya. This is a very small area, but we have to talk a lot. Katama achananda anicca sanya. The Buddha said that in order for us to heal, the first thing to do in our life is understanding anicca. But I think you already know what is anicca, right? Let me ask you, what is anicca? I think you may hear this from 1,000 Dhamma talks. I think they start with anicca and with anicca. And you know what it is, right? Anicca is not a new word to you. But the problem is that, is anicca properly explained? What is this anicca? How does understanding anicca help our life becoming better in terms of physical, mental, emotional happiness? Is anicca something that asks us to stay away from happiness, stay away from all the emotional attachments? Now, whenever people talk about anicca, they always talk about, emotional attachments. They don't make it attachment, bonds. And what else? Relationships, connections. You have to stay away from all these, and then, if you could, you go and become a monk or a nun. This is the ideal life, no problem. So when you become a monk, they have their own life. But the problem is it the way how the Buddha asks lay people to practice? Then you all can become monks and nuns. You might say, no, I cannot do that because there are some certain things I cannot do, but it's not the point. Point is more than the Vinaya area, understanding the Dharma part. Because Vinaya was established for followers, monastics to reach to the Dharma level. Without Dhamma, there is no Vinaya. Vinaya is not important anymore. Dhamma is the most important thing. Vinaya came in to help people to practice Dhamma. So then, there is a huge misunderstanding about this Pali word anicca. Let's see the translation. What is the very famous translation about anicca? Nicca, anicca. I think we can do like this. Okay, anicca. It's here. Anicca. And then we see that nicca is the opposite. Anicca. Anicca, nicca. We will discuss sanya separately. Yeah? Anicca means, what is the usual translation? Impermanence. Impermanence. Is impermanence an overall inclusive translation for the Pali context of anicca? Yes. If you look at it literally, yes. In a literal point, yes. Because nicca means permanent, anicca means impermanent. That is one context. In one context, yes. But if you look at anicca in our life, then you would understand, you could find out that there is a healthy meaning to this anicca. Healthy meaning. Nowadays, people are talking healthy things, healthy desires, healthy relationship, healthy food, and they are going beyond that. They are saying superfood, right? And then healthy. So, if you look at anicca, you will see that how the Buddha explained here. Then you will understand it. When we say anicca, if you look at the contextual meaning that were given across the canon, so the Pitaka and then our own experiences, your own experiences, you might see that we have sort of kept the overall meaning of anicca only to a certain aspect of our life. What do you think? Are people taking now? Our suggestion for this Pali word anicca is change. What is it? Change. Chang. Why do we suggest this Pali English meaning for this anicca? Because when people learn, or maybe when you are hearing teachings about anicca, most of the time, quite often, oftentimes, the teachings are given in a manner to understand the negative changes in your life. And they are trying to say this is the only meaning of anicca. Exclusively, anicca is exclusively about negative changes. What are the changes? Negative changes. Negative means changes that we don't like normally. So I will call negative. What are they? Aging. Who would like to age? Everybody would like to slow down the age. They like to slow down the age. Right? They don't want to age, but they would like to slow down the age. Did the Buddha talk about an idea to slow down our aging, or did the Buddha say, no, aging has to be accepted? What is his idea? What do you think? If you look at larger, broader suttas, not one sutta, okay, many suttas, How did the Buddha explain aging? Did the Buddha exclusively tell us that you have to only look at aging in a way that aging is inevitable and that's it? Or does the Buddha hold any other idea about aging in the camp? I think you would go for the first one. That's what you know. But in the Samyutta Nikaya, especially in the Kosala Samyutta, for the King Kosala, Buddha is talking about aging in a different way. What was the matter of subject here? King Kosala came to see the Buddha and he could not even sit down for a while. And Buddha asked, what's going on? Bhante, I eat a lot because my cook is making lots of food and I can't stop this addiction. So whatever the food he cooks, I eat. Then the Buddha said, Chattaro pancha alope abudva udakang pive alang pasu viharaya pahitatta sabi. King, when you eat, this is not only for the king of common idea. Every Buddhist has to follow this. When you learn Buddhism, you only learn how to eat in Nibbana, right? Have you ever learned how to eat as a Buddhist? That's interesting, right? You eat every day, 3 meals, maybe sometimes snacks. Many times you are eating, but do you know how the Buddha talked about how to eat? Did he ask us, eat only this food, avoid this food? It's not like that. Because people eat differently in many countries, cultures. Follow the discipline, follow the common sense. What he said was, dear King Konsalo, when you eat, do not fill your tummy. What is the advice to us? When we eat, never fill the tummy with that food, the particular food. Then the Buddha said, how should we understand? How should you understand that? Chattaro, number 4. Pancha, number 5. 4 to 5. Chattaro, pancha, alope means at that time there were no forks and spoon. People used to eat with the hand. So leave or set aside 4 to 5 morsels, maybe a mouthful of food. So you have to empty your tummy with 4 to 5 mouthfuls. So now what does this mean? When we are going to take food into our plate, we have to understand how much food I'm going to take into my plate. That's an ability, not that you go and then take everything that is up there. Right? Number 1 is we have to know how much food we are going to bring onto our food plate. If you are someone who is cooking in the house, you should know how much food is needed for today. Exactly measure it. Otherwise, you would not like to give away to somebody. We recently had a very interesting comment by somebody in another discussion. There was somebody, a family member, who is buying lots of food, and she doesn't know how much food she has to buy. And finally, just before they are going to be expired, getting almost expired sometimes, she's coming to the niece's house and then placing all those almost going to be expired food in her fridge. And then she's asking her to eat all that because I spend money for that. And somebody's mismanagement of buying the food portions and other person's bad karma to eat all that, right? So this means it's very important to understand how much food going to be prepared. So then that problem can be avoided oftentimes. So leave 4 to 5 morsels of food and drink water instead. Okay? This is how the Buddha said. Why did the Buddha ask this? Why did the Buddha tell this to other people? King Kosa and all of us? He said, when you eat like that, sanikang ayung jiranti, you will grow, I would say you will age slowly. Sanikang ayung jiranti. Who would like to grow old faster? Then the Buddha said in this sutta that when you eat like that, leaving 4 to 5 morsels away, and then drinking water instead, that would help you to age slowly. So then this is another way, contextual way, how the Buddha looked at aging, jara. But if you only pick up Dhammacakkappavattana, jara, dukkha, jara is a pain. Yes, jara is a pain. Why not? Not everybody's, I think everybody is unhappy when they are looking at their aging. But there are things they can do about jara, which the Buddha said in other suttas. Then when you want to learn about aging, you must learn other teachings about aging as well. In today's world, in that context, Buddha perhaps would be one of the earliest teachers about teaching anti-aging. Right? Because he said you can grow older slowly. If you go for a shop today, anti-aging soap, anti-aging cream, anti-aging, this is very expensive stuff in today's world. So that means we have to understand the suttas, especially the concept in Buddhism from a wider, broader perspective. So that means anicca is not only the negative change. It is also a place to understand positive change. Yes, I am getting old. At the same time, I can be a happy person with that aging while accepting the change. At the same time, while doing the necessary for slowing it down. But there may be a time you might not be able to slow it down. So that time you are really growing old. But the Buddha asks us to think about other ways of looking. So when we look at anicca, we need to understand that we have to accept good changes and bad changes. Now let's look at other bad changes that people oftentimes hear about anicca, aging, sickness. Can we avoid sickness? Is it possible to avoid certain sicknesses? Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about there is somebody who is going to be reborn in a family where the parents maintain certain generational genetic problems? Let's say mother had a certain disease. Father had a certain disease. The doctors are saying, cardiovascular problems. We got to check out males in the family. Who will be picking up the cardio problem next time? You should be okay. Maybe a cancer. Maybe another very, very, very rare disease, 1 out of million people disease. Maybe it's genetic. What do you think? Being reborn in that kind of a family, why is it? Could we have changed this particular genetic issue? Now there are certain medical experiments going on that even the scientists are trying to change the molecular structure of a gene. Let's say there is a child who is going to be reborn in a certain dysfunctional context, right? At that point, everybody knows at that point, at that level, that your child is going to be like this. But what if the scientists can change the molecular structure of a gene and then they can sort of help out the child is going to be a normal child? That can be happening, right? But let's take the other side. What if that someone is going to be reborn into that kind of family? Was it avoidable? Why is that person going to be reborn in that family? Perhaps this could be due to a past karma, right? So then, could we have changed that past karma? Yes, doing more good karmas. Not that today you come to the sutta study, not that tomorrow you go and give a dana, not that tomorrow you are going to a retreat, and everything is going to be okay. There should be a consistent, committed practice. Right? It has to be a committed, consistent practice. So that way we can even change our karma, right? And sickness, that means there are a lot of sicknesses. I think we are going to discuss that under another sanya, or we call it as Adinava sanya. So one of the sanyas coming up. In that sanya, we are learning how to avoid sicknesses. A lot of people say, no, it's about getting sick and life is impermanent. So that's not the way. How we look at it here in the Girimananda Sutta. So in the first sanya, the Buddha is asking Venerable Girimananda, think about your healing. A lot of problems in your health issue can be solved depending on how much you are going to accept change. So I would say the change here has to be on both sides, good side, bad side. And about the death, marana. When some people hear about marana, they are like, don't even talk about it. But we understand we are going to die. But before we are going to die, we have to live. Some people even don't live, right? They're always thinking, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. But before we die, we have to spend quite amount of time to become a better person, good person. Because death is not beyond this life. Death is a part of our life. When we understand that, we live better. Some people think life is a dress rehearsal, like go to a clothing store and grab a cloth and go to the fit-on room and then checking that out. But no, we have to live first to die. Buddha is talking like that. You have to live to the best of you. So anyways, then good changes, bad changes. What are the good changes in our life? We can discuss with Anicca. You are with somebody for 20, 30 years, but that person never appreciated you. And all of a sudden, in the morning, this person is going to say, such a good person. I admire about something. I'm thinking, for 15 years you were with me, but you never complimented. How come, Today morning, what's happening? Is that a miracle? And sometimes, for many years, the loved ones never appreciated you. And all of a sudden saying, you are such a pretty person. That one small compliment gives you goosebumps and letting you think about, what is this? This is Anicca. Sometimes our people that we know can change. It's also part of Anicca. So all the good changes, negative changes, they are Anicca. Now, let's take a look at how the Buddha asks us to do it in the Dhamma way. Let's go take a look at the text. Sanya, I think some of you might still not understand Sanya. Okay, Sanya means, what is Sanya actually? Let me know. Sanya means a perception. Perception means a mental note. Are we creating sanyas now? At this moment? Yes. How do we create sanyas? We are creating perceptions or mental notes depending on the past. And then we are making notes for the future. The purpose of mental notes or sanya is to create a certain memory for the past, from the past and for the future. So the Buddha gave us these 10 perceptions in a way that we can create them as a memory. Because normally when you understand that memories are giving you a good time, memories are going to give you a bad time. So I think we can understand sanya from that perspective. So that's why he's calling this as a sanya. So we can really think about it. Katama Achananda Anicca Sanya. Let's see how the Buddha explained this. Idananda Bhikkhu Aranyagatuva Ukkamodagatuva Sunyagaragatuva. Okay. Don't take it from a monk's point. Okay. At this point, you understand whether you go to a forest, whether you go to a foot of a tree, sunyagara, whether you go to a sunyagara, you are going to think well. Pati sanchikkati. Pati means repeatedly. Sang means in a good way. Chikkati means think. You are thinking in a good, you are repeatedly thinking in a good. What are the places? Whether you go to a forest, whether you go to the foot of a tree, you sit down at the foot of the tree, or you go to an empty place. This, I think we have to discuss about sunyagara. Sunyagara means, what is sunyagara? Sunya means empty, right? Sunyagara means, does it mean that a place where nobody is staying? If you are looking for that kind of a place, a better place could be a desert. Desert has nobody, right? And somebody should be able to practice meditation well on a ground in a desert in the Middle East, but it's not. What the Buddha says here is that sunyagara means a private place for a private time. As Buddhists, can we live without associating anybody? We can. But is it healthy? Can we live without socializing with anybody? We can try, but we go back to the zero. That's why the Buddha said, when Venerable Ananda brought up one day, he told the Buddha, I think 50% of this Dhamma journey, spiritual journey, depends on Kalyana Mittas. No, the Buddha said, no. 100% of this Dhamma journey success depends on how many Kalyana Mittas are surrounding. Can we have Kalyana Mittas if we are always going to isolate others from us? It's difficult. Solo practice is not enough. So we need some Kalyana Mittas. Kalyana Mittas are those who go to the temple all the time, those who always give you a ride to the temple, those who only engage in the Dhamma activities. Are they Kalyana Mittas? Who are they? Yeah, they may be Kalyana Mittas. But what is the Kalyana Mittas interpretation in the Buddhist text? Someone who always comes up with a kusala thought. Someone who always speaks kusala words, skillful words. Someone who always acts with kusala activities. Is it easy for you to find out this kind of a person, Kalyana Mitta? Is it easy? It might be challenging, but this is the ideal state of Kalyana. But I think you are calling Kalyana Mitta. So I think you need to understand that the level of this Kalyana Mitta friendships. So we cannot live being in an isolated life. So that's why the Buddha said, time to time, you may go to a private place, maybe your room, maybe your place, reflect upon what you have been doing during the day. Have I heard somebody from morning up until now? Have I used my words compassionately? Oh, have I just, spit everything out? I don't care about what other people think or talk. Have I acted on things with some metta, with some compassion, Brahma Viharas? I think we need some, what you call a recharging time, right? That means time to time, we may take probably maybe 20, half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour, just to recharge us. Am I in the right way to talk to other people? Am I in the right context to act on different things? Am I properly thinking? Or am I very stressed out? So these things have to be managed, self-managed. But for the most part, we need that Kalyana Mitra friendship. So that's why the Buddha said, even though you are going to a sunyagara, empty place, that means a private place, you can do this. Okay, now, how did the Buddha ask us to think about anicca san? He is talking these Dhamma things about anicca. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Okay, that means when someone is practicing anicca sanya means that person particularly needs to understand that the five aggregates, panchakanda, are subject to changes, subject to be in the process of changing. Okay, now it's a good point to think about. When you look at anicca next time from today, you always have to think about that. The Buddha's way of discussing anicca comes under the five aggregates. What are the five aggregates? Rupa. Rupa means form. We all have a figure form. Vedana. Vedana means feeling, right? Vedana means feeling. Sanya. Sanya is a basic level of mental knowing or a memory or a perception. Sankhara. Sankhara means, what are the sankharas? Karma. Good karma, bad karma. Vijnana, consciousness. Now, the Buddha is telling us the phenomenon that someone understands, the scenario someone understands anicca means that particular person understands that these five are changing all the time. I will tell you something very interesting. That is what we know. At the same time, you need to understand Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. They are the five aggregates. Do we all have these five? Do we have a form? Yes. Do we have feelings? Yes. Do we have Sanya, emotions, perceptions? Yes. And do we have Sankhara? Yes, we create karma all the time. Do we have a consciousness? Yes. How do we really understand that we have five aggregates in our daily life? Can you think about some examples? Rupa. Are people really worried about their figure, their beauty, their decorations, not even their decorations, their house decorations, garden decorations, even their garnishing textures of their food that they are making? Are they really concerned, worried about them? They are. Is it bad to be concerned about the form, figure, texture, outlook of somebody? Is it bad? Is it un-Buddhist? It's not. The problem here is that if you develop that particular effort of feeling good about yourself to a certain clinging, so much clung to the building up of the form, that would be a problem. So I think you understand Rupa very well because in daily life you are so much concerned about it. Have you also found out those people who given up beautifying themselves? Have you found out those people as well? There are people like that too. Huh? There are those people too. They never take care of themselves. They never go to dye their hair, though they are supposed to dye. They never go and get some comfort time to time. They never want to feel good about themselves. Even the anapanasati meditation, breath meditation, I'm always saying scan the body. Don't go to anapanasati right away. Scan the body. What can I scan? Am I a scanner? Are you scanners? The reason why we are saying to scan the body is that because you are healthy, you appreciate your body, not to a level of clinging. Because you can breathe in, breathe out, just appreciate yourself. That helps you to go to the relaxation. So, understanding that what you call rupa is there in our life, within the aggregates, is important. Otherwise, you cannot think about anicca because you have to understand what is. Second, vedana. Do we understand our vedana during the day? Feelings? Or do we always blame other people? You are not taking care of my feelings. What do people do oftentimes? Are they taking care of their feelings or are they always blaming the loud one, say, you are not taking care of me? You just like left me like nothing. You are not thinking about, you are not actually taking care of. What's happened? Are we personally looking at our feelings in a healthy, wholesome way? That is important. Then we can help out other people for their feelings whenever time is necessary. Right? So feelings are happening. But time to time we should understand, based on our sanya, we might instantly become sensation. Such as all of a sudden you are looking at a certain scenario, you go back to a memory that happened to you during your time, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago. So this feeling has two parts, right? One is that you feel yourself. On the other hand, there are some medical aspects where they desensitize your feeling, right? What is that? Painkillers and then injections. They can numb your feeling, right? And you don't feel anything at that point. But whatever the things that are happening with regard to your feeling, you understand that there are emotionally, mentally connected feelings. At the same time, your body has a certain feeling as well. So feeling is very, tangible to us at that point. Then the third one, sanya. Do we know that we have sanya time to time? Or we are driven by the sanya for something else? Do we understand time to time during the day when things are happening to us? Do we understand this is a sanya, so I have to understand my sanya? Or are we all of a sudden instantly driven by that sanya to something else? What is oftentimes happening? We are picked up by our own sanyas and we don't know what we are doing at that. Right? So that's why we have to understand our sanya. But sanya is happening all the time. Sankhara. Do you know that you are creating sankhara for the most part of the day? Do you? You are. Now you are making sankharas. What sankharas are you making? Kusala sankharas, punya sankharas. You know that participating in the sutta study creates lots of good karma. Why is it? This will enhance your Dharma knowledge, and then this will be your practice tomorrow after this sutta study. Okay? And vijnana means, it's a very broader concept. Here the vijnana has two parts. One is our samsaric vijnana that we brought from last life, which is going when we pass away. The moment we pass away, that consciousness is departing our body. And then when that samsaric consciousness stays with us, that samsaric consciousness normally rests. It doesn't want to work because it is how do I explain that in a very interesting, simple way? Now, say for instance, we have seen there are some distribution vehicles. And when the distribution vehicles come to a certain city, and other vehicles come and take the stuff from that distribution, say for instance gas, petrol, kerosene, diesel, but that one doesn't go to individual place, it's a big one. And then the small other trucks come and then refill and then go to their own destination. In the same way, this sansaric vijnana only comes to us and it wants to rest. And then other vijnanas are, depending on that consciousness, helps us to cognize. That's what happens. This is called vijnana. So, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana are existing. They are real. They are not unreal. They are happening all the time. Now, the Buddha is saying for us to understand that my Rupa is changing. I think it's very simple. All of you know that our Rupas are changing all the time. But not many people know is that the second part of the Anicca, that says, my Rupa is changing, my form is changing. Right? At the same time, my Rupa can be changed. That means things are changing and things can be changed. This is how we're going to look at it. My feeling is changing, yes. At the same time, at times, I can customize my feeling as well. I can change my feeling if I want. Give me a good example. How do I change my feeling from a Dhamma perspective? Jhanas. Jhana practice. When you enter into a jhana, you change your feeling. They say vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagrata. What is this? Changing my feeling. And upekka is the highest. Upekka is the highest level of our feeling. What does it say? A state of mind or state of feeling where you are not driven by good things and bad things. You are in the perfect balance. Upekka mind. What does it mean? I can change my feeling. While understanding my feeling has been changing because of causes and conditions, I also have to understand I can customize, I can change my feeling onto the good side or bad side. We are supposed to change it to the good side. One of the very important things that Arahants, especially Pacheka Buddhas and then Samma Sambuddhas do before they're gonna pass away. What is it? We call it Nirodha Samapatti. I think I can write it down here. Nirodha Samapatti. Nirodha Samapatti. What does this mean? Normally, this is called the 9th jhana. There are 8 jhana. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. They are all Hindu jhanas. They are not Buddhist. The jhanas were practiced by the Hindus, Hindu tapasis. The Buddha said the Buddhist jhana, he did not really encourage all the time, but time to time in some of the suttas he said 9 jhana. But this jhana is a place where you customize your feeling. What is the importance of this jhana, 9 jhana? Buddha and Arahants, particularly Buddhists, know something like this. Their enlightenment, Arahanthood, they want to experience it in 2 ways and at 2 times. One is the moment they enlighten through the practice and they become enlightened. Arahant, Pacheka Buddha, Samsara. But they know that they cannot feel the max level of that enlightenment until they pass away. Why is it? Let's say there is somebody who become enlightened, but the next day after the enlightenment, the person gets sick. So where is the happiness of the enlightenment? You may say that, yes, arahants can mentally understand that this is sickness, but still their bodies are painful. So because of that, Buddha, Pacceka Buddhas, arahants, they do something interesting before they pass away. That is called Nirodha Samapatti. Nirodha Samapatti has another Pali word, Sanya Vedaita Nirodha. Sanya means perceptions, Vedaita means feelings, Nirodha, extinction of sanya, perceptions, and feelings for a short time. What they do is, they at a certain time before they pass away, they are going to reach out jhanas, first, second, third, fourth, all these jhanas, and they are going to a certain state of mind where they suspend, withdraw themselves from perceptions and feelings for a week. Enlightened people can live without perceptions and feelings for a week. Can we live? We cannot. We need sanya, we need feelings. That means enlightened people can suspend, withdraw their feelings for a week. What does it mean? This means you can customize your feeling. While you understand feelings are changing because of circumstances, causes, and conditions, if you are really blessed enough, spiritually very awakened, you can even change your feeling. So feelings are changing, you can change your feeling. Third one, sanya. Of course, sanya also, they are also changing, and sanya can be changed. Tell me how they are changing and how we can change our sanya. What do we mean by sanyas are changing? Okay, let's say you have a bad memory with somebody 5 years ago. Every time you see somebody like that, this is coming back to you. Isn't it? Comes back to you very fast. Similar experiences. Maybe you had to undergo a certain hardship when you were a teenager. When you see a teenager now, the same thing comes back to you. Oh, I was like this many years back. It comes back to you as a flashback. So sannyas are coming and going on. We cannot stop them. But we don't have to worry about it. Why? Why is it? We can change our sanya. How to change our sanya? We can change our sanya by doing the necessary things to our sanya. Say, for instance, you are having a bad sanya memory about somebody, or maybe your memory, then letting go is one thing. Sometimes we are carrying unnecessary heavy weights in our life. So we must let it go. That means we can change our sanya. On the other hand, what about a good sanya? You are thinking many years back, or maybe recently, you have done a very good karma. Then you want to happen it all the time. You are trying to put it back again. I want to have it all the time. Such a very good memory. I feel very blessed. And I think I did the right thing at that. You want to happen it all the time. What does it mean? You change your sanya. Sanyas are changing. Sanya can be changed. Going back again, Rupa is changing. Rupa can be changed. Vedana is changing. Are changing. Vedana can be changed. As in English, if you don't know the Pali, our form is changing. Our form can be changed. Our feelings are changing all the time. We can change our feelings. Our memories, perceptions about life, past, whatever, they are changing. They can be changed. And now, sankhara. Interesting. Karma. Good karma, bad karma. Right? karmas are changing. Now, say for instance, someone is very worried about last year, 2024, such a bad year. I've been sick on and off, and then I don't think I was very healthy. But what did I do to overcome the problem? Did I really seek the proper treatments? Did I really do the right thing for that? Right? So then, karmas are changing. Karma can be changed. That's why we did a retreat 3 months ago. Karma can be changed, not even the bad karma. People are more concerned about bad karma. Good karma also can be changed for what? Good karma can be changed to double, triple, quadruple the result of that. Such as you go give a dana to Sangha members. There's somebody who is giving dana in a circle. But that person gets to learn one day, no, this is not the proper way to give dana. It doesn't mean you change the food that you are offering. Maybe the way how I think about dana has to be changed. Maybe I don't have the proper intentions about the dana. Then what does it mean? Even you are changing your good karma for the best. Say, for instance, you have been kind to other people. You try your best. But one day you understand, oh, I have overlooked a certain way of being kind in my life. And today I understand I can be kind differently also. Maybe there's someone who has been always viewing other people, you are such a bad person because I know these people are bad. At the same time, you are a good person, but I think you have to improve yourself. But one day, the person who's commenting to the other person thinks, interesting, I think people are differently good. The problem is I don't understand how is my friend is good differently than me. I'm differently good. He's differently good. She's differently good. Then this comes to that mind. That means today I believe that wholesomeness, skillfulness, being a better person, good person can be different to everybody. What does it mean? Good karma can be changed. And bad karma can be changed too. Keep in mind, good karma can be changed to the bad karma too. Examples? Lots of examples in the Buddhist text. So, how to protects us from not doing a good karma into a bad karma? Always keep your good intentions. Never ruin your good intentions about any good activity. Because we know it's good, we want to maintain. That's karma. Karmas are changing, karmas can be changed. Finally, Vijnana. Vijnana is changing. Is our mind always monotonous? Or is our mind is multifunctional? Good mind can be changed into the bad mind. Bad mind can be changed into good mind. Can good mind become the best of the good mind? Can bad mind become the worst of that bad mind? All these are possible. That's why the Buddha said, understanding the dynamics about the mind and the thoughts, especially the thoughts. He's not worried about the mind. When we talk about our akusala thoughts, we are always supposed to talk about akusala thoughts from the chitta. We have 3 Pali words for the cognition process, right? What are they? Mano, chitta, vijnana. Mano is the faculty. That means we have it because we are born. Chittas are the things that are happening in that mind, and consciousness has different areas. They are heightened level of our thoughts. So now the thing here is that our thoughts are changing for the good or for the bad, kusala perspective. At the same time, we can change our thoughts. Where did the Buddha say we can change our thoughts? Satipatthana Sutta. How did the Buddha say? He said there are close to 16 type of thoughts we can change. So then I can say we are change agents. We are change agents of our own spirituality. Don't let somebody change you. Spiritual. I'm helping you, Dhamma books help you, other Dhamma speakers help you, but you are the change agent. Nobody else can change. But you have to change in a nice way. Understanding Anicca with regard to the 5 aggregates into perspective. First aggregate is changing and I can change my first aggregate. Second aggregate is changing, I can change my second aggregate. Third aggregate is changing, I can change the third aggregate. Now when I say I can change means it might not be a full experience. You can do to some extent. So then the Anicca is both sides. It's not a single idea. It's not a stand-alone thing to think. All right, we go to the sutta again to read the last one. Rupang Anicca. Okay, first aggregate is changing, and you can change the first aggregate. And then Vedana Anicca, Sanya, Sankhara Anicca, Vijnana. Finally, what did the Buddha say? Iti imesu panchasu. Okay, now there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These aggregates. Panchasu upadanakkhandesu aniccanupassivya. There's a little bit of twisting point here. What is the twisting point? Now, Buddha normally say Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana, 5 aggregates. But when he summarizes the whole idea, he's saying it's not just the 5 aggregates. It is the clinging to the 5 aggregates. And to all this. The way how we are supposed to look at Anicca in 2 ways should be directed towards the Upadana. That means we can have a healthy experience of Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, but never bring Upadana to this. Now the problem is, how do we know the level of Upadana? How do we know what times Upadana is coming to my 5 aggregates? Think about the first aggregate, Rupa Khanda, the form. How do I know clinging comes to my Rupa? There is someone who is obsessive about his or her beauty. There is someone who is very infatuated, obsessive about one's feelings. But there is someone who is not obsessive, who is not infatuated, who is simply understanding I have to look good. That's not bad. But there is someone who is overly, I would say, obsessively concerned about the form, feelings, perceptions, karma, right? And then vijnana. So that is how people are bringing upadana onto the 5 aggregates. Otherwise, 5 aggregates are very harmless things. Right? They are harmless things. It's like dealing with the snakes. Snakes are primarily harmless beings, but the way how we look at the snakes can be a very, very bizarre, bitter experience, right? So we have to look at 5 khandhas in a harmless way, because only we are making them harmful when we bring the clinging onto the 5 aggregates. That means how to do it in simple life is that you know at which point my activity with regard to the khandha become obsessive, become infatuated. If you can manage that obsession, that addiction, that obsession, infatuation, then you are good. Then you see the change with regard to the changes. Changes are happening, you can do the changes. Then that's how the us Venerable Ananda to teach, Venerable Girimananda, that the more you understand the changes of the khanda, 5 aggregates, with regard to they are changing, they can be changed. The healing is not far away. Healing is nearer. Actually, in our life, say for instance, there is someone who's very, very addicted, obsessed about one's beauty. Is this addiction going to cost a lot of things in his or her life? In terms of maintaining that kind of a very high end, that kind of a very obsessive level of understanding about oneself. What about there is someone who is obsessive about karma, right? In the form of cherry picking good karma, cherry picking bad karma. At that point, this can also go to a certain level of obsession. We just do good karma. We don't have to look for the better karma, right? We just engage in the good karma. So, because finally, what is important is that our thoughts that we are investing on that particular experience. All right, so I will summarize in a moment of time, then we can go for the Q&A. Once again, the first perception today, which the Buddha is saying to Venerable Ananda, is that teaching Monk Girimananda, is that Anicca Sanya. Why and how does Anicca Sanya help anybody to heal? Is that the more we accept the changes, the faster we are going to heal. So the letting go process, renunciation process, understanding process is very much coming to us within a couple of seconds. That's why Venerable Girimananda healed on the spot. Why is it? It is because our healing process has been postponed by us. Have we postponed our healing process sometimes? No, I'm so busy these days, so I don't want to heal myself, right? And then in a couple of months, couple of years, it's going to give you a big time, cost a big time, emotionally, mentally, physically. So the idea is that accept more of your changes. At the same time, never think that you cannot change yourself. You can change. Transformation is possible. It might be a messy process. It might be an uncomfortable process, but it's the most beautiful experience. Because when you are going to understand more changes, not only from the bad, negative side. A lot of people, they teach negative experiences only. Good and bad. Then people are balance-minded. Yeah, I got a promotion. I'm so happy. I was not promoted for the last 10 years. My loved ones complimented me. And I passed my exam. I'm becoming richer. I'm becoming better. These are changes, right? And I can accommodate a lot of things in my life. Last couple of years, I was not very tolerating my family members. Now I start to tolerate them more. I'm becoming more patient. I understand people better than I used to be. Changes. So when you understand that changes are possible, they look to be very messy, uncomfortable. But when you do them, you feel the real miracle that's happening. So when that is happening, you are probably more than half of your problem. You are healed already. So that's why the Buddha said, start your healing process by understanding the Anicca. All right. Any questions? So you may come to the mic and ask the question. I hope the mic is turned on. And then Zoom is actually on. Any questions about Anicca Sanya today? About, you may call it impermanence, but change. Yeah.
No, Bhante.
Yeah, please.
This Anicca Sanya, you see, a person dying, the vijnana will be living. So I was wondering, this change, can be, well, if we meditate, we can see the changes. Because certain sutta I read, person refers to an awakened one, the vijnana is nowhere to be found. So I suspect the change might have been very drastic. Can you explain? Thank you.
Can you tell the last part of your question? For the enlightened ones, there are a lot of mentions about that they see that vijnana is not existing at that point of the enlightenment, and then what you think about?
You see, there was one case of a monk. I can't remember his name. The Buddha was saying to the other disciples, "You see the dark clouds in the sky. That Mara is looking for the vijnana of this monk who is enlightened."
Yeah.
And the Buddha says the vijnana is nowhere. His vijnana is nowhere to be found. So I couldn't understand that part.
So, in order to understand this question, we have to go to the story that you are mentioning. What is the story? A monk Godhika, Gadhika, Godhika. Okay, I think I will explain. You can go and take a seat. What happened? Monk Godhika practiced Vedananupasana, mindfulness on feeling. So every time he was making a progress, slight progress, he had to start over. So he was really frustrated about what am I doing? I've been practicing meditation, but just before my concentration neighborhood, I had to expire from there. So I have to die myself. So this is a very dangerous example, but we don't practice it. It was a very exclusive incident that happened to that particular monk. So he said that he used a blade and he was cutting. At that point, the one that he was using for shaving his hair, and he fell the Vedananupasana and he passed away. The Maha was watching over what's happening. And then he thought, okay, the monk Godhika must have been reborn because he was just frustrated about his life, meditation life. Then he went to the Buddha as a child and asked the Buddha, Bhante, where was monk Godhika was reborn? Then the Buddha said, people like you cannot understand where he was reborn because he is an enlightened monk now. Then Mara understood indirectly, yes, what he's saying now is that this monk Godhika got enlightened. I lost one more opportunity. I wanted him to be reborn. So the Vijnana story that you are mentioning is that the Buddha is trying to theorize what happened to monk Godhika because he had to say something to Mara. But it does not say that Vijnana is impossible to be changed. Now, what is the idea of becoming an enlightened person? To stop the Vijnana, right? Why are people trying to become enlightened? What is that purpose? To stop the Vijnana, change the Vijnana into nothing. So that means this Anicca has the perspective of changing the Vijnana. Better in the Vijnana or maybe lower in the Vijnana as well. So Anicca has all these perspectives. But I think you perhaps noted another interesting thing. I think I could not explain that in my story. I said Arahants, Pacceka Buddhas, Samma Sambuddhas, they wanted to take this 9 jhana to experience a state of mind where they don't feel sanya and vedana. No perceptions and no feelings for 1 week. Why do they do that? Because they cannot feel it when they pass away. So they want to see it up front. What will happen to me? What is the happiness when I pass away one day? That is the real enlightenment. The real enlightenment happens when an arahant passes away. So we have 2 types of enlightenment in Buddhism, 2 stages actually. First one is Kanda Paranibbana. Our kanda by aggregates are going to finish. Not kanda parinibbana. We call it kilesa parinibbana. Kilesa parinibbana. Our kilesas are extinguished. All the kilesas, defilements, stains are extinguished. No more fire in them. But khandas are still continuing. What is the khanda? Upa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana are there because they are still living. Then one day, when the Arahant passes away, Pacheka Buddha passes away, Samma Sambuddha passes away, Khanda also going to Parnibbana, enlighten. Why? Khandas are going to stop. The real Nibbana is happening. The real Nibbana has another Pali word, Parinibbana. Not Nibbana. Parinibbana. Pari means all entirety. Enlightenment in all entirety. Very interesting Pali word. Nibbana, Parinibbana. So when an Arahant, Pacheka Buddha, Samma Sambuddha attaining Parinibbana means they have come to the fruition, I would say. Fruition in the context of Kilesa already happened. Fruition of the enlightenment, or Parinibbana. So this is what we understand. So I think what we need to understand today is that try to believe in the change. You are the change agent. Things are changing, especially Panchakhandas are changing, and you can change Panchakhanda to a certain extent that you can manage your spiritual life. Then healing is inevitable. Normally people say death is inevitable, aging is inevitable, but change is, the good change is inevitable. Transformation is inevitable at that time. All right, I think, are there any other questions? If not, we're going to wrap this up at this point. We'll take half a minute. If there are no questions, we are going to wrap this up by transferring good karmas to the departed ones and Devanaga. So may all the good karmas we've been making today, because we learn Anicca today with details, especially Anicca has a very bad connotation in the both scholarly and the scholarly practitioner, normal practitioner life as well. And we discussed that Anicca has to be understood with a more positive outlook so that we can change our life, spiritual journey to the better. So may all these good karmas we will making today be transferred to the departed ones. May departed ones be able to receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me jnati hotu sukita punyatayu. Idam me jnati hotu sukita punyatayu. Idam me jnati hotu sukita to Deva Naga Mahindika. We have come down to a new era. May Deva Naga Mahindika bless us for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May they protect you all the time. May they bless your Dhamma journeys. May your Dhamma journeys become seamless, consistent Dhamma journeys all the time. May Devanaga Mahindika bless not only you, but also your family members, all of us, everybody. May they finally be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabideva anumodantu sambasang pattisiddhya. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabibhuta anumodantu sabbasang pattisiddhya. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabe satta anumodantu sabbasang pattisiddhya. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhang tusasanang. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhang tusasanang. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika Punyantang anumuditva chirang rakhang tumang parang chirang rakhang tuman sadam. Dhamma wish. Our Dhamma wish is to be surrounded with Kalyana Mittas. We have a new year, 2025. Let's make a wish. May more Kalyana Mittas come to our life. Also, not even we are expecting Kalyana Mittas come to our life. Let's become Kalyana Mittas to all of the other people. May this world be full of Kalyana Mittas. May no Papa Mittas come to anybody, to us. May all us be Kalyana Mittas to all of the other people. Thinking thus, we are going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yavanibbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we be making today, our first sutta discussion in 2025, be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siris nichang vardha prachainam chattaru dhamma vardhanti ayuvanu sukhang balam ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samicchatu sadhu sadhu sadhu.